come to a new club. And he did actually go as far as to say, if you don't know what he brings to the table, you don't understand football. So it's like, what do you make of that? What have you made of that? What do you make of Gyökeres so far? Like, is there any concerns? Because I won't lie, Laurie, the last 3 games, yeah, as I said earlier, from Newcastle, Olympiacos, and now, I think it's more on you. Before, adapting, not creating, all those kind of things. I think you are to blame for you not scoring goals now. But where are you at? It's no goal in 6 now for him.
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, what I would say about those comments is, let's be honest, you would expect the national team manager to say that about his striker.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to say that. And I don't disagree with most of what he says there. I mean, let's be honest, Victor Gyökeres, his arrival at the club was highly anticipated. We were crying out for a number 9. He was brought in to solve the club's long-standing need for a consistent, clinical centre forward who could fit into Mikel Arteta's system. He's come in now. He's got 3 goals in 10 games overall. Listen, man, there have been games when he's not affected the game as much as we would like. Actually, in the last game, I think that was probably his least effective game.
Yeah, West Ham, he's a passenger.
Yeah, he did look a little bit out of sorts in that game. But listen, as we've been saying, recurring theme throughout this show, we're talking about adaptation. So what I see is a player he's getting used to us and we're getting used to him. It is going to take time. He does have 3 goals. I would have liked to have seen Saka giving that penalty the other day. I know that Saka is a designated penalty taker, and I know that we were only 1-0 up at the time, so logic dictates that the designated penalty taker should take it. But I would have liked to have seen Gyökeres I would have liked to have seen Saka giving the penalty just to get his confidence level up, because, you know, strikers, they're a unique breed.
They're weird, man.
We tend to judge strikers purely on the goals they get, not on what they do. We only talk about the hold-up play when they're not scoring the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
facts.
I still like him. I think he's going to come good. I backed him to get 20 Premier League goals in the season. I'm sticking with that.
Same.
He's already got 3. Like I said, the season is not even 20% over yet. There's loads of games to go, over 30 games. So he will get better. We will get better. He will get opportunities, and I think he'll take them. The one thing I would say, though, if you're a goal scorer, especially if you're playing for a club like Arsenal, where the scrutiny is so big, he's not scored now for 6 games. Now that's a bit of a goal drought. That's a little bit of.
Got to be playing on him as well.
Yeah, I would imagine it is, man. No matter what he might say publicly, I'm sure. And that's why I'm saying I would have loved Saka to give him that penalty and he would have scored it, because at least that would have kept his goal numbers up and given him something to, you know what I mean, feed off. But overall, man, I'm happy with him. I don't know. What do you think? Because I know some fans are not. You know what I mean? We live in that world, man, where it's instant gratification. People want results, and they want results and goals right now.
If I'm honest with you, Laurie, I think there's a lot of, obviously, I think externally, people that are not connected to Arsenal, everything we do is highlighted. You'd think Gyökeres is the only new summer edition. You'd think he's the worst performing. Not that I want to do whataboutery, but I just feel Gyökeres is like the the only signing that's happened in the summer for all of football. He's always spoken about. And I know Gyökeres ain't an idiot. He's had to deal with doubters. As you said, you're moving to a big club. We've been starved of a number 9. You knew there was going to be a level of scrutiny. And I think he's got the mental toughness, because at the end of the day, as harsh as it sounds, it's not that you can't care about outside influences. As long as the manager and your teammates believe in you and you believe in yourself, that's kind of all you need to do. 1 minute you're amazing, then you're not. We've seen it with other players. I would say it's a bit of a weird one for me with Gyökeres, is because when he was linked, and I do think for what it's worth, there's a lot of nitpicking with Gyökeres, because some people need to just get over the fact that he's not going to be the most beautiful player to watch and all of those kind of things. It's a bit weird with Gyökeres for me, Laurie, in the sense that when like in the summer you're hearing about him and you're reading reports and you're looking at him on YouTube or the occasional game, it was all a whole like his general play isn't terrible but isn't the best. He's just a goal scorer. And it's almost like the opposite, because I do think your general play, you're running into the channels, all of those things are there, but the goals aren't. And on one hand, I do think we need to find him a bit quicker. I do think he's involved in the build-up place and literally can't get in the box. I still don't think we're creating as much chances, but I think in the last 3 games, it's been more his decision-making. Like sometimes it's been on your left. You might need to get it done in 2 touches. You're taking kind of 3. Like against Olympiacos, Martinelli should have found him, but there was one incident. He kind of overran it and he tried to score from an acute angle where the right decision was to find Martinelli. And I just feel when you start doing those things, you need a goal. You're probably too excited. I think it naturally needs to happen. I've got complete confidence in Gyökeres. The one thing I will say though, if God forbid, but if we fast forward to next season and he hasn't delivered, I want another striker. That doesn't mean exile Gyökeres. You're just part of the squad. Let's get another one, because I personally don't want another season. And I would say, do you know what? Yeah, with Gyökeres, I do think a bit like Saka as well, Laurie. He's being marked out of games. But I'd say the one thing for me, if someone could just sit him down and show him Diego Costa videos, like I think you're a bit too nice, if I'm honest. I want to see you bully and do the Alan Shearer thing and elbows, and that's the one thing. I think there's more to come, but I think there's a beast in Gyökeres. But as you said, where you look at Zubimendi and half these guys, there is that element of an adaptation period, and not being funny. What is 7 games in the Prem, 10 in all comps, into what I'd assume is a 4 or 5 year deal. So I've got no concerns about him. But I will say, Laurie, like the last 3 games, I'm more looking at you than the manager, if that makes sense.
Well, I think the West Ham game, I would say he looked out of sorts. He looked off. In fact, dare I say, he looked a little bit, if not tired, a little bit sluggish. Yeah. And in a way, that's also understandable. He's coming to a new league, which, let's face it, is a big upgrade on the league he was at previously. Let's be honest.
Massive.
And the intensity and the physicality is different. So he's having to come to terms with that. He's also having to come to terms with a completely different style of play. We've also, our controlled approach, the tiki-taka around the box. Someone like Gyökeres, I would say, thrives on early balls into the box. You know what I'm saying? And there have been occasions so far this season where he's made the run. I've seen him make the run and call for the ball, and he's not got it.
He's not got it.
That must be quite frustrating. He's been used to at Sporting just getting it like that, boom, because he's the focal point of that team. So there is that adaptation factor. And listen, we also have to say that because Havertz has not been available, and neither Jesus. He's our only striker at the moment. So there's a big workload there, you know what I mean? But listen, I am, based on what I'm seeing, I'm still backing him to come through. Like I said, it's still very early. He has 3 goals. I mean, he is, even though, he could have got more goals, he's still the joint top scorer at the club. He's still got 3 goals. It's only 7 games into the season. So there's a long, long way to go. So I'm backing
7 shots as well. So he could, there's a lot more to go.
There is a long way to go, and he will get the service. I'm confident that as the weeks go by, he will get better, and I do think he will be. Like I said, I'm backing him to get that 20 a season. You know what I mean?
He just needs it. Do you know what it is? It won't surprise me if he, like, against Fulham, he bags 1 or a couple and then he goes on a bit of a run. As you said, and I think everyone knows, strikers are a bit weird, no matter how tough they are. Like, when they're in a good moment, they're scoring, it's going in off their ear, they're scoring screamers. Likewise, when it's not quite working, isn't happening. But for me, I don't know, man. It's a weird one because I don't think he's doing amazing. I definitely don't feel he's doing as terrible as the tabloids are saying. It's one where the general play.
I agree with this contributor here, what Asher said. That's what I said.
Yeah.
It was more the West Ham game that I had concern. He looked a bit off it in that game. I think there was one incident I saw when Mavropanos, of all people, ex-Arsenal player, kind of got the better of him and dashed.
I was vexed about that. I thought he would bully him going into that game. I thought,
I was like, come on, man. This is Mavropanos that's doing that to you. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
We of all people know about him. Like,
he played well. I thought he played very well against Newcastle and Olympiacos. Just didn't score
against Olympiacos.
It's the West Ham game where I had some concerns. But like I said, man, it's only the 1 game. The international break may have come at a good time for him.
So he did for Marino.
Refresh, come back, and he'll be on it, ready to go against Fulham.
And even that, like, I know it's bad mind, and I know, like you said, it was 1-0 at the time. We need to go and confirm the victory. Saka might be the designated penalty taker. I don't think he was on the pitch when Gyökeres scored his against Leeds. No. And for Saka, I think it's a landmark game. It's like his 200th or something. So I understand why. And I know it's bad mind to say, But this is what I mean by Gyökeres. Maybe you're a bit too nice. Like, you think you can't beat up Saka, just bully him and take that penalty off him. Like, I know it's so bad, man, but I
Well, that
wanted
would
him
be
to
hard
take
to
the
do
benefit.
because number one, Saka's the captain, and number
And yeah,
two,
yeah.
he's
That's what I'm
designated.
saying. It's a bit silly,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
I just think there's a beast to come out in this guy. Like, I just think mentality wise, if it was up to me, just sit him down and show him Diego Costa. Like, that's all I want you to do. Because I do think, Laurie, there's an element of our fan base that nitpick. I'm not talking about constructive criticism. I understand it. We're used to strikers with a bit more glee and swagger in that and things of that ilk. I don't think it's pretty, but the general play is there. And we didn't buy him for that. I'm not being funny, but he's 27. As you know yourself, if you're 27, you're not going to see him have a Chris touch and all these things. He's not going to have the general play of a Havertz, maybe a Marino, definitely a Jesus. But he can do one thing that, unfortunately, those three couldn't do on a consistent basis: put the ball in the back of the net. So let's just make it happen, man. I think some people just need to admit this is our striker. Just support him, just get behind him. Obviously, if it continues, then that opens up the door for maybe Marino. It'd be interesting to see when Kai Havertz is fit, exactly what happens in that regards as well, man.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you know, Deluded, because we spoke many times. I was a big fan of Aubameyang when he was at the club. I don't.
We all love
that. Gyökeres is the same type of player as Aubameyang. You know what I mean? I think Aubameyang is a better natural footballer than Gyökeres is. He's also a better athlete in terms of, you know what I mean, like the pace and stuff like that. However, Gyökeres is he's a goal scorer. That's what he does. That's what it says on the tin. And I think that part of the problem that I see is that we have to play to his strengths. There's no point in like tippy-tapping around the box and, you know what I mean, delaying the passes. He needs service and he needs it early.
Give him the food he'll
He's
eat.
not the type of player that's going to beat two players from outside the box and curl it into the box. He's not that guy. He's more like a Haaland, but he's not as good as Haaland.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, we need to get used to how he plays and vice versa. He's going to have to adapt as well. But if we want to get the best out of him, we've got to provide him with a service, because I think I'm right in saying I don't think I've seen him miss too many sitters. You know what I mean? It's not like he's missed a load of one-on-ones that you're saying, oh, you're a bit
That's where it gets concerning if that happens.
If that was happening now, then I'd be a little bit more concerned. And even then, I wouldn't be overly concerned. I'd be saying, well, at least he's getting the chances. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think we're giving him enough of the type of service that he needs to be the most effective, if that makes sense.
Like Eze's assist for him against, I want to say Forest, where he's laid it on the plate for him.
Exactly.
That's what I want him at the club to do.
Against Forest, and I remember it well. Eze, brilliant ball, first time across the box. My man arrives at the right time to just put it in. And the first thing he did when he scored that goal, he didn't even celebrate. He just ran towards Eze, pointed to him knowingly and said, yeah, as if
That's
to say, this is what I want. You know what I mean? Now, here's where it gets interesting. He had a similar chance, very similar chance to that, against West Ham.
Where he fell on the floor.
Declan Rice, who put the ball across.
Yeah.
And he didn't time his run and he missed the ball. And we was like, rah, come on, man. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm starting to think. Is it the drought that's playing on you now?
Yeah. So I'm saying in the West Ham game, that is the one game of all the games he's played so far that I look at and think he's a bit off it today. But that happens, man. That happens. Let's see how he does against Fulham after the international break. You'll probably
hopefully, man. Best case scenario, get a couple for Sweden, and then it happens at Arsenal, and then we're gone. I just think, honestly, if he gets 1 or 2 against Fulham or within that 2-game period, I think he goes on a little bit of a run, really and truly. And one thing I'll give him, he does occupy the center. I know you're a striker, that's going to happen, but I do think you kind of drag people away from Saka. Saka's still getting tripled up against, but there's less players to kind of contest with. So I'll give him all of that. But it's just we need the goals now. And I have faith in him.
Like I said, the strikers, they judge on their goals. But I will say this about him. I do like his work ethic and his work rate. No one can accuse him of ducking. You know what I mean? He's got a high work rate.
Especially against Newcastle.
Yeah, he likes to put himself about. He seems to enjoy a physical challenge. So, yeah, I've got every confidence that he's going to come good. And I'm sticking to my pre-season prediction that he'll get 20 Premier League goals this season.
Yeah, I'm backing that. And to be fair with you, I always look at these new signings, because I remember like a few years ago, it's irrelevant to Arsenal, but I remember when Sane signed for Manchester City, they were saying, he's rubbish, he's German hype, all that kind of stuff. And I think we played them. I think Sterling scored. He was wearing a yellow kit. We played them. He had a bloody good game. And that just seemed like from then, the Sane we knew in the Premier League. And then I think that even happened with Rodri. There's many a player. So I always try and give them the first 6 months because, as you said, it's a new team. He didn't have a preseason. Maybe he's arguably playing a bit too much. There are some things he can control, like his decision making, which even where Henry kind of done the analysis against Bilbao, definitely for me in the 3 games, he's done his thing. But there's things to do better. West Ham, I agree. If there was one, that's the one.
Players. 2 of Arsenal's best ever players
exactly.
had auspicious starts to their Arsenal's career.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Exactly. I can remember being in the ground. I actually arrived in the ground a little bit late, just before he scored. Dennis Bergkamp, he scored the opening goal against Southampton. And I remember prior to him getting that goal against Southampton, there was 1 or 2 fans saying, "Oh man, this Bergkamp guy, he's not delivering," you know what I mean? And then he, like you said, he got that goal.
And the rest is history. And now he's got a statue and all of them kind of things, man. Like, he's not the first and he's not going to be the last. So I've got all the faith in Gyökeres, man. But it needs to happen. If we can get Gyökeres firing, get Saka firing, get all these guys firing, even Trossard and Martinelli isolated to the minutes they play, we're laughing really and truly. Like, some Arsenal fans even tell me older than me that there used to be chants in Thierry Henry's early days about him actually being shit. Now they'll swear blind that never happened now because you got to be shit. But it just shows you. And I don't think, because I know people probably heard you say that and me say that and say, "Oh yeah, he's not Thierry Henry and Bergkamp." We know that. We're not expecting him to ever be in the same realm as them. The point being, folks, for those listening, that listen, when the penny drops, the guy will be good. And I'm not being funny. We have rid out and defended shitter strikers. You know, some are in our squad at this moment in time, if I'm honest. So when we've got a killer who's ready and he done everything to sign for this club, just give the man an opportunity. You mentioned the Emirates, yeah, and it's a bit irrelevant but relevant. I know you've probably offered your thoughts, but now that I've got you here, what do you make of the potential stadium discussions around improving the capacity of the Emirates? Do you think we need that? There's even talk of going to Wembley as it's being done. Like, where are you at with all of that?
No, I think it's encouraging news, man. I mean, a club like Arsenal, you know what I mean, they're a heavy-hitting club, one of the biggest clubs in the world.
True.
And yeah, when I heard the news, I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. I mean, currently Arsenal, I mean, that stadium was once the new shiny stadium, wasn't it? But now, we've seen Tottenham up the road, they've got their stadium. There are other grounds, Liverpool developing theirs. So yeah, man, I welcome that. And listen, I think the primary goal, from what I understand, is to increase the capacity of the stadium to make the Emirates, from what I understand, the largest club ground in London. At the moment, we're behind.
It must be second, isn't it? Behind Spurs. Palace ain't bigger than us.
And West Ham, apparently.
Oh yeah, West Ham. Yeah, West Ham. But they had the cheat code, man. We paid for all of that, man. The taxpayers had the cheat code.
Yeah, that's true.
You're right. I forgot about West Ham Stadium, to be fair. Yeah, the old Olympics.
I think the top 5, I think it's Man United, although their stadium's a bit decrepit. I think they're about, nearly 75,000. Then Tottenham, 62,800, something like that. West Ham, 62,500. Then Liverpool, then Arsenal. So yeah, they're looking to expand the stadium, bring it up to a capacity that'll be the biggest in London anyway. And I think I'm hearing as well that will allow them to address Arsenal's substantial season ticket waiting list, which I'm told is in excess of 100,000 people.
It's which is amazing. It's like an 8-year wait.
Yeah,
I'm on it somewhere. I couldn't tell you where, but I'm on it somewhere. I've been on that since.
And obviously,
16.
They do that as well. The revenue they'll be able to bring in, you can just imagine. Because I saw a stat, this was from a couple of seasons ago, so I'm not sure if it's still the same now, where they were saying that on match days, even though Arsenal's doesn't have the biggest ground, they take on match day more revenue than any other club in the Premier League, and one of the most in Europe. You know what I mean? So obviously, if they're expanding the stadium, you can just imagine
more cash
revenue they'll accrue there. So as long as that revenue comes into the club and it goes on the right type of things like players and stuff like that, then yeah. And not only that, the stadium, there are parts of it that could do a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, liquor paint everywhere, really.
Definitely. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, I welcome it, man. It's obviously in keeping with Arsenal being the big club that we want it to be and think it is, you know what I mean?
And you're right, because, you know, whether it's Berta doing his job, obviously Arteta hasn't got over the line, but we've got a competent manager, competent sporting director. we're doing things commercially. The academy's pumping out talent. We're even trying to find other players. Like you said, we're trying, and you throw in the stadium stuff. Like you said, we're trying to. Well, we're maneuvering how we should have been maneuvering from the jump of moving to the Emirates. The whole caveat of us moving to that ground. You said something there, yeah, Laurie, and I'm not gonna lie. It put PTSD in my head. I hope that we're in a different kind of realm, yeah. But stadiums and paying off stadiums and all of that kind of stuff, like. Do you see this affecting our transfer business and the austerity measures? Like, could we go back to those dark days? Like, if
Hopefully
we have to
not.
get this.
I mean, I saw a stat. I'm pretty sure you saw it as well. They're saying that this work that they're doing could cost in the region of 500 million, which is £500 million. So obviously that is a massive, massive investment.
Serious bill to foot.
You know what I mean? And we have seen in previous year where clubs do spend that type of money in stadiums. Obviously, it's going to affect their revenue, or not the revenue, their output of what they can buy on players. You know what I mean? Because obviously they're committed to that project. So I'll be interested to see how it works out. They're talking about, as that caption there says, playing at Wembley while that work goes on.
I'm scared for that, I think it'd be shit.
Well, I remember going to a couple of Champions League games at Wembley back in the day.
That's what I'm saying. It's the second time we'd have done that.
Yeah, I think it was in the late 90s.
1998 or something.
Yeah, 1998, 99, around about that time. I saw Arsenal play a couple of games there at Wembley.
Stunk out the gaff.
Yeah, which was a different type of experience. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's ambitious, man. Let's see how it goes. I welcome it. I've got to say, I do welcome it.
I got to ask you this because we're on the topic of stadiums and, we've kind of focused commercially and season ticket holders and that atmosphere. Like, what have you made of the Emirates Stadium's atmosphere? Like, do you think this could be an improvement? Like, what do you make of the atmosphere in general as well? Because for me, it's not the best. I think the only time it's consistently been great, probably the first year we fought for the title, that year we bought Zinni and Jesus. I don't know if it's because we were just buzzing. I don't know, man. We do have good days out, but that consistent kind of partisan madness that we want to see and make the Emirates, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just an Arsenal thing because Highbury's, in my opinion, the atmosphere was better, but it weren't exactly the noisiest of crowds. So we're not exactly the noisiest of fans, really.
Yeah. I think there's been a bit of a cultural shift as well, not just for Arsenal, for a lot of clubs. When you're 100%. And don't get me wrong, I do prefer seated stadiums. I'm not going to be one of them. And listen, I've been to both. I've been to Highbury when you stand and everyone's squashed in. And obviously nowadays you sit and it's a lot more comfortable. So if you're asking me, my preference is to be able to sit and watch the game and obviously partake in the atmosphere as well. Also, I'm not a big singer or none of that. But so it can affect you forever, because you do, if people are standing and stuff like that, it does tend to allow people more license to express themselves and generate a better atmosphere.
Because you go to the games, the away fans 9 times out of 10. I don't want to boy us Arsenal fans, but they do dwarf us in terms of noise, especially the European
you get that for every club, the away support, because of the aesthetics of it. There's you in that smaller section of the ground, and it creates that kind of us against them type of thing. So yeah, you are going to get that. But in terms of the Emirates, what I would say about it, there have been games when the atmosphere has been really good. I mean, it depends on the game, doesn't it? It depends on who we're playing, how much jeopardy there is in the game and stuff like that. The atmosphere could be better. I do note that when Tottenham built their stadium, the way they constructed it is that they brought in experts to the acoustics, make it louder so that when the fans sing, the way it hits is that it sounds louder than it would as normal. So I would imagine Arsenal will probably do a similar thing. We'll see how it goes, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, fans tend to respond to what they see going on the pitch.
Yeah.
You can't get away from that, you know what I mean? Most fans do.
If you're looking like you're on it, naturally we're going to be on it.
Huh?
If the players are looking like they're on it, the fans are going to be on it. If the players look scared, they're not. Yeah, there is an element. And I'm trying to avoid it, but there's been some flat days. Like I remember the 3-3 draw against Southampton, couple of fixtures against Southampton and whatnot, where naturally, you can't ask fans to be up for it if you're not really maneuvering like that. That's why I give credit to the players and Arteta, because 9 times out of 10, you're on it in games. And as silly as it is, that's why I'm a big fan of at least first 5 minutes, someone from Arsenal. Don't hurt no one, but big 50-50. It gets people going, people excited, people are spending mad money anyways. The big games were up for it, innit? It's just, I think we need to find that medium. But
yeah,
as you said, we're doing the business on the pitch, no one cares.
A, what they see on the pitch, B, the jeopardy of the game. If there's a game where there's obviously jeopardy in it, then obviously fans are going to respond to that and get behind the team. One thing I do find a little mildly irritating, though, is when I see players, they just want to throw in or made a tackle and they're doing this to the crowd. I'm like, yo,
Gabriel
bro,
Magalhaes loves it.
You focus on what you got to do, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. But hey, it is what it is.
A couple more things to go over with you before I let you get out of here. Yeah, Timber. First thing, Timber's looking like he's getting a new deal. What do you make of that?
100% deserves it. As I've said, man, this guy is. I think it goes under the radar sometimes as to how good a player this guy is. He doesn't really.
You're too used to it now.
He doesn't really give many interviews. He's not that kind of outspoken extrovert type player. He's not English.
Does his job and goes home.
You know what I mean? Seems like a quiet, private person. So we don't know too much about him off the pitch. But on the pitch, man, the guy's an absolute beast. Like I said, best right back in the Premier League currently, one of the best right backs in the world. In fact, this may be a bit of a stretch, but I think only Hakimi for me is better, what I've seen anyway. I mean, somebody who's watching this show might be able to tell you somebody else. And listen, that may well be the case. But what I've seen, he's the best right back in the Premier League. And one of the best in the world. Like I said, only Hakimi for me is clear of him right now.
I'd go with that as well, because I know people would say, oh, Reece James, and I think Reece James is quality on his day, but let's have it right. When did you see a consistent season of what you're seeing from Timber from Reece James in a minute? You ain't seen that in a minute. Good player gets
Reece James is quality, but here's the problem with him. He's always injured.
Exactly. So it's more of a legacy rather than what you're actually doing. At least it'd be fair to say the last 18 months, like last season. I know we're focused on this year, but Timber post ACL is one for the history books. I ain't seen James do that in a minute.
Yeah, and he's getting better in all areas as well. Like defensively, like the guy's fantastic. But going forward now, he's getting better as well. I mean, I think he's created something like 9 chances this season.
Half our highlights, he's having shots or like an effort that, like even against Newcastle, where he could have scored and Zubimendi had that weldy of an attempted assist. We're getting a lot more out of our fullbacks. Like the guys, I can't praise him enough. Like this is one of Arteta's best signings, really and truly.
Absolutely. And
I know there's been a lot more
as well. He had that horrific injury, 1 game into his season.
So, do you know how strong he is up here?
Yeah,
man? Players could have crumbled.
And when it comes to duels and that, bro, there's not many people that's going to get the better of him in a duel. Yeah, physically, he's very strong. That's one thing I can say about him.
There's only 2 games, I'll be honest, where I think, he had not a tough day. I think when we played PSG, Carrot Skilo, it didn't destroy him, but you're playing against a good player. I think you did well against Doku, but against City, I think it was a good battle between you.
It was a good battle because I rate Doku highly. I'm always arguing with my brother. I'm always arguing with my brother Robbie about it. I said Doku is quality, and then he brings out these stats. Yeah, but he's not scored this. I go, bro, the havoc that guy creates, bro.
You wouldn't want to play against Doku
in the Premier League.
Can take you on the outside, on the inside.
Yeah. He creates havoc, bro. You know what I mean? He's quick. He's tricky. Very skillful, loves to dribble, very aggressive with his dribbling.
He'll make you pop.
He's a real handful. So yeah, that was a big battle. I did enjoy that battle, to be honest, between him and Doku. So, but yeah, to go back to Timber, he's been my player of the season so far. He deserves his deal. I think the deal that he's getting, isn't it kind of similar to the one that Trossard got, insofar as it's mainly to do with a pay rise rather than
see, that's where I get a bit annoyed. Because I'm not on that. Like, I don't know how long. Well, it says here actually, his deal expires in 2028. Just extend that, man, at 24. You never know how life can go. Just extend that, man. I don't agree with just giving him more. Like Timber's get Trossard, I understand it, but to a degree. But Timber, just increase the length of his deal, really. Again, even that you said that, you mentioned Trossard. Apparently, we've done the same with David Raya as well. We've just given him more money and his deal.
Yeah. Another one who deserves it, by the way.
He overly deserves it.
Yeah, another one who deserves it. For me, I mean, I know people will talk about Donnarumma and Alisson and all them, man. But for me, right now, David Raya is the best Premier League goalkeeper. That's for me. All things being considered. Talking about his agility, his command of the box, shot saving, his distribution with the ball. You know what I mean? I think at the moment,
bailed us out many a time as well.
Yeah. And I've got to say, shout out to Mikel Arteta, because when we got David Raya, I was like, right, do we really need another goalkeeper? We should really be focusing on another area of the team. But to be honest, man, he's come in and he has been fantastic. He's another guy, by the way, who I really enjoy watching. I just find him very entertaining, man.
Him and Saliba make my heart drop sometimes. They're too cool, though.
Remember when he out-sprinted Ward Prowse and did a little
He's a madman. He's like a centre-half. He wants the ball. That's the thing I love about Raya beyond the obvious, Laurie, is his temperament. Like, he doesn't get too overawed. I think the only time, obviously he's had bad games, he's made mistakes and he's human and that. The only time I've been kind of shook about Raya, I remember Luton away a few years ago. You remember when, I think it was Declan Rice, he saved us. I think Raya even says that was his worst game. But he's doing well, man. And like you said, credit where due to the gaffer, because you're paid to make these decisions. Them times Ramsdale's stock was high, PFA nominations, all these things. You brought in Raya, we're like, oh, what's really what you're going? Where are you going with that? Nobody doesn't care about Ramsdale anymore. And respectfully to Ramsdale, Raya just concentrates a bit more.
He's won the Golden Glove the last 2 seasons, right?
Exactly.
He did one of them. But like I said, I just enjoy watching. I remember I went to I may have told you this story before, so if I have, forgive me. I went to the Liverpool game away last season, right? So the way things happened, we got in the ground really early. Now, I don't like normally doing that. I tend to arrive a little bit later because it's not like there's a lot of pre-game entertainment or anything like that. But anyway,
standing there, really, players do kick up.
It was a nice day, so we thought, let's just go in the ground early. So we went in the ground early. And one of the good things about getting in the ground early is that you get to see the players warming up. So he was warming up right in front of the Arsenal fans and he was going through his various drills. And the thing that struck me about him, man, this guy's agility was next level.
He's like a cat.
Then I saw some of his footwork he was doing, like crossing the ball, kicking out, with the accuracy that I was like, rah. And I've seen it in games where he's put long balls over the top and found the player. I'm like,
yeah, range is better than a couple of midfielders in this league, really, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
a couple number 10.
And then I did a little bit of research and found that back in the day, he was an outfield player. He was a striker. He's played futsal as well. So he's very good on the ball, bro. You know what I mean? And he has that kind of borderline eccentric personality that makes him very good to watch. And yes, sometimes
he's calm but excited at the same time. You're right.
Yeah, he does do a couple of crazy things, but he's a team man as well. You always see him G'ing up the players. Whenever we score a goal, he's, you know what I mean? I like watching him, man.
And I like how he fronts up to the music as well, man. Do you know what? That's one thing I won't say. Ramsdale did say that, but I feel Ramsdale was more like a fan, if that makes sense. That's why I kind of took to Ramsdale. With Raya, it's business as usual. Like, they ask him, I know it's simple, but do you want to win the Premier or the Champs? No, we want to win both. Like, just short and he does his job. Like, and I know people
he's not the Spanish national keeper. He's not the first choice.
On one hand, I mean, the manager of Spain could turn around and say, listen, I won the Euros with Unai Simon there. But for me, I think Raya's up here, Unai Simon's down there. I don't get it. Like, I think that's just an opinions thing. But I guess, you know what? It sounds bad, man. But, you know, the fact that Raya isn't playing for Spain kind of helps me because I'm always nervous when the players go off for international. Like, I'm not really sleeping good. Them I need to return.
The other thing about Raya as well, which is quite unique, is that as far as goalkeepers go, he's not that tall. I think he's only about 6'1" or 6 foot.
Like 6 foot on the dot, isn't it?
Yeah. So most of the other keepers you'll tend to find they're 6'4", 5 plus. I mean, Donnarumma's 6'7".
Ridiculous.
You know what I mean, Raya is not that big. But like I said, his agility, his jump, the saves he makes, bro, and the confidence that he must give to the rest of the team. You know what I mean? Because if you do get past that back four, which is unlikely, you know what I mean, and then you've got Raya to deal with, invariably he's going to make the save.
And if Rice ain't about, that's what I was saying. It's like people will say, oh, he's got a good defense in front of him. That's true, but like good keepers tend to have good defenses in front of them. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, as Laurie just said there, if Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Lewis Skelly, whoever you want to say, they get past, how much confidence have they got? Like Raya's popping off saves. We've all played
And,
football, yeah. There's an opposite
and
side of that, Laurie. Like, have you not? We've all played Sunday League, yeah, where you might be in defense or whatever. You don't believe in your goalie, and you know if it gets past, it's dark. And we've been there with
yeah,
Arsenal, so
that's
I'm
right.
happy to see Raya, man. Like we've had Ospina, Almunia, like the list of crap keepers. Runnelson's probably the worst, if I'm honest. Raya's cool. Like you deserve your new deal. This is a good
And let's
question.
be honest as well, we've got a very capable backup keeper in Kepa.
Is it in Kepa as well? That
So,
we're
and
not
this
going to
is
see
what I
him
was
too
saying
tough,
at the start of the show about the 8 new signings that we brought in. They're all quality, bro.
And this is
All
what
of
we
the
need.
8 man. I mean, we've not seen enough of Norgard yet. I'd like to see him get a few more games. He's another one.
I must admit,
International player.
forgot he was at the club.
Yeah,
Hincapie as well. Only seen 6 minutes from him.
yeah.
This is what we love. Like pressure for space is proper. And this is the first year. I know we're not gonna, as much as I want to, and I hope we can. I know we're not gonna win every damn trophy in it, but you know when people say, or the club say, "Oh, I want to compete on all silverware and all fronts and that." This is the first year I believe you can do that in theory because you've got the numbers to the point where there's always going to be dramas. Like you're at the grounds, obviously you're doing the watch-alongs. I'm sure, and I do the same. I'm sure, like when the 11 comes out and you watch to the bench, there's all talking points. Oh my God, Wanyeri's not here. What's going on here? Then the other. So we need this. We absolutely need this. Where do you have Raya in the world as well?
Where do I have him? What, sir?
Where